from Farm Wholesale, and we're here today with Karen Schwartz and Jeff Dearborn from J&K Growers in Dallasport, Washington. And we thought you'd like to see how professionals grow produce in a greenhouse.
We've grown lots of stuff in here, strawberries, and then all these vegetables, the peas and beans, and this year we're trying broccoli and cauliflower and tomatoes. We've had tomatoes, cucumbers, everything.
And what's the highest value crop, do you think? Tomatoes?
Out of the greenhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the tomatoes.
So when did you build this greenhouse?
We started building it 4 years ago. In the fall. We built it all through the winter. It's mostly 2-inch galvanized steel.
Okay.
This greenhouse is about 4,000 square feet.
Okay.
It's 140 feet long and 33 feet wide.
There.
It's 11 feet in the very center, and then it's 9 more feet up to the very top. So it's
okay, so the roof is
about 20 feet. The medium is cocoa fiber. And we have pumice mixed in with it. We use drip irrigation.
Drip irrigation,
yeah.
liquid fertilizer.
Liquid fertilizer. Right. So we're not organic, but we are pesticide free.
Why did you choose Solexx to put on the roof?
We hoped it wouldn't blow off like the other stuff did.
Had you tried other product before you used Solexx?
We had 6 mil poly. We had on for about almost 30 days before the wind took it off. It was about a 55-mile-an-hour wind. Came up one evening, loosened up one of the corners, and it just kind of peeled it back. We got here the next day. One side was still attached.
So you chose to try Solexx as the alternative?
The reason we didn't buy it the first time was, you know, the cost was a little higher than we were ready for at the time. But then we, you know, decided the cost was worth it.
First experience in growing a greenhouse was a double poly greenhouse.
Right.
And we weren't impressed with that double poly. It was just, the greenhouse was there, it was available, and we needed to get moving. In our next greenhouse, we went to Fred Teufel's location, and his greenhouse was the corrugated clear polycarbonate, yeah. And we weren't impressed with that either. Really hot in his greenhouse, just, you know, when the sun came out, it just really, really was too hot. Right. And then when it was, you know, rainy or cold out, it was just nasty cold in there. Right. And he had investigated greenhouses for a long time. We actually went to Holland, and these average glass greenhouses loses loses a BTU per square foot per hour per degree differential for outside and inside temperature. So if you're 20 outside and you're 40, you want to be 40 inside, you got 20, you're going to lose 20 BTUs per square foot per hour. In this greenhouse here, we're less than a half a BTU for that same range. We're probably closer to a little over a third of a BTU per hour. And we know this because we paid for the propane. And we can calculate exactly how many BTUs we used the year before, and we know what our outside and inside temperatures were. So we know that we're somewhere in that third of a BTU. And it's very important today to be watching your energy costs. When you're dealing with a corrugated, it looks great and it seems great because it's got all these different angles that the light's supposed to bounce in at. But when you figure out your BTU costs, you have to figure out your surface area. Solexx is flat, so a square foot is a square foot. But in corrugated, you got 1.4 square feet for every 1 square foot out there because of the extra surface area caused by that corrugation. That's going to increase your heat loss in the wintertime. So that's going to cost you more propane, which means you have to grow more crops.
This past winter, it was down into the single digits.
Right.
And we were able to keep about 20 degrees above the outside temperature in the greenhouse.
Without heat?
Without heat.
Without heat.
Yep.
If you have 3 really cold days in a row,
right,
progressively gets colder and colder,
right,
and if a cloud deck comes in so we can't get any sunshine, but the minute the sun comes out, we're up to 60 degrees in here, even if it's 20 degrees outside.
Wow.
It just, and we're not measuring temperatures from up there at the 19-foot level. We're measuring temperatures at this level. So when it goes up to 60, we're going, boy, it's a good thing we don't have to go out.
Do you ever worry about the snow load?
No.
No.
No. We stopped worrying about the snow load when the snow started sliding off. And we just don't worry about snow load.
The only thing we worry about the snow is when you walk out the door that it doesn't slide and land on your head.
Now we're building in this greenhouse is that summer heat doesn't bother the plants the way you'd think. We walk in here, it's 120 degrees, and she and I go, okay, get your Kool-Aid out, get your lunch, and get out of here because it's too hot. The plants just live right through it, and temperature isn't really the determining factor whether plants grow well, it's how intense the sunshine is. And outside in the wind, or in the fast-moving air, as we call it here, they dry so fast that the sunshine is really hard on them. But in here, they don't dry very fast.
You haven't found anything that's burned?
Well, you see, our south wall is a polycarbonate.
Right.
And yeah, we burned the first 6 feet of our plants over there on that edge.
Because of the
and we have this comparison all day long.
Right.
We can tell that we've done, what was that, soil temperatures we were doing? No,
Yeah.
we were doing a growth test one day.
On the tomatoes.
On the tomatoes. And the first bench over here doesn't grow as well as the center 2 benches because it's too close to that extreme temperature, too hot and too cold.
Without cooling it, you find that the plants haven't ever been stressed except where you have close to polycarbonate, where the clear material.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's part of what you do in growing crops well is you keep the extremes away from them. And that's what Solexx does so well, is that it's all indirect lighting. And it's a lot of indirect lighting when it's in July here, and it's really bright, but it's indirect and it doesn't burn the crops. So we don't have holes in our leaves or dried plants, burnt leaves. Consequently, we don't have stress.
So then you'd purchase Solexx again for your other greenhouses?
Have no use for any other product.
So would you recommend Solexx to other growers?
Anybody who's thinking ahead.
Yes.
Yep. You got to look at Solexx because it's just a different way to grow things. Your roses are probably better. You probably have less disease problems. You need to try it.